So here we go. This is what I'm going to be building, is the Tamiya Blackfoot 2016 edition. I know I already have a Beetle, but I don't like bashing on that too much, and this is sort of to go a bit harder with. Like I said, I've been wanting one of these for some time, and I thought, let's build one, because it is a really nice looking body and all that, because it is the body from the roughly from the Ranger on the Sand Scorcher Rough Rider format. Like I said, it's got a few little problems. Yeah, as we know, the plastics can be a bit brittle, and the diffs, so you've got to be a little bit careful. So part 1, charged battery, ignore that. So here's stage 2, all the parts laid out. There we go, everything you need. So first things first is the double-sided foam. This goes on to the battery holder, like that. Very short and sweet. The next thing I normally do is fit on this part with the 2 large self-tapping screws with a good amount of wax, which always helps with this harder plastic. It helps cut a thread than strip the plastic, I find. That part goes here, so we'll put a screw through. Oh, so no, it goes here. Let's get it right. There we go. And we'll start it off. I'm not going all the way until I've got the second one in. I'll start it. I've started from the other side to what they show, but it doesn't matter which way you do it, however you prefer. And there we go. And now we've got to fit this rod, which goes to the lowest hole there. Doesn't need thread lock really, because the screws touch in plastic. And then tighten as best you can. Possibly will come loose, but once you've got the other side on, you can go over that one again and it should hold it solid. Now we got this side, we got the front bumper mount, and it goes according to this with that piece facing downwards by the look of it. I won't say it's upside down, I'm looking at it and no, it goes up, yeah, it goes down, but you've got to have it upside down. You've got to drop in these 2 spacers. The hex ends fit into the chassis. You've got this little brace here, which fits on that little notch there. And then you sandwich both halves together. Lining it all up. But pay special attention to the the servo mount bar. Nope, I missed. Almost got it. It's one of those things, is getting it right the first time. So let's try again. That time it popped straight in. Or it can pop straight out. We'll get this screw in quick. At least it will hold it a little bit. Now we can tighten it both sides. That's tight. One thing I forgot is to pop the battery door in, but it's easy at this point because there's flexibility where we can put those other screws in. If anything, that might have been an advantage doing it now, because it's one less thing to hold. And that's what you should end up with. That's stage one. So here we go, section 3. It's fitting the suspension stays for the front wishbones and a couple of side brackets, which are to do with the, I think to do with the rear shocks. So these are all the parts laid out, not too many. The good thing is with these, they're drilled, so there isn't a side to put them on, it's just to put it at the angle bits at the top. But this will pull the suspension together when we fit these. Yeah, make sure you get it in the right holes. It lines up with a couple of little lines on the chassis very nicely. And this pulls, starts pulling things together. Second one. Nothing's rigid on that part. One thing is, this part I left out in part 1, but it's not a major problem because you can just slide it in to place, so not too much of an issue. Now the first side we're going to do is, we've got these parts to fit, which is the on-off switch and the side pieces, so you've got to get the right ones. This is the far side, this is this side, and what I'm going to do, I'm not going to drop the red bit on straight away. I'm going to start the screws in slightly, and I'll show you why. So you can do this because that is got slots, and all you've got to do is drop it on like so, and just tighten the screws up. And then take the screws out when you realise you've used the wrong ones. You're supposed to use those ones because of the slots. But I won't change it because I'll take it out of the video. If you make a mistake, it happens. I'll be truthful, if I make mistakes, I make more, and you people tell you this, more while filming than at any other time. There we go, that's that piece, and then the other side is just the bracket. And that completes stage 3. Now stage 4 is fitting the servo and ESC, and they show it stuck on the side, if you can see, and it sort of goes down inside. I don't like it like that. I'm going to have mine more on top, around here. It's going to be fitted. I think it's a better place. So it comes with, it says 2 screws to screw the servo. If I can find some more of these little sort of washered screws, they call them flange tap-in screws, I will add an extra couple so it holds it really solid, the servo. But the servo goes in see which way round do they want it. They want the attachment nearer the front, and then adjust the bar behind. You have to do this manually. And then fit the 2 screws. And like I said, if I can find a couple of more of these in my spares from other kits, I will add an extra 2. Because this is a 15 kilo servo, so it's not like running the little stock ones. Plus it will hold this bar more rigid. See, years ago when it had 2 servos, it was a bit different. And if that makes sense, you had more holding on to. Where now we've got less holding the bar. So I'll get this completely straight. That's where it wants to go. It's not really a big issue, but that bar has only got 1 screw and that can slightly move, so with a couple of extra screws that'll make it super solid. Right, now on part 5 is putting the electrics in. We won't be fitting the switch like that because being a hobby wing you don't need it. So, but first things first, we've got another bar to fit in. And we'll get that out of the way. Just get started. So almost tight. When you think about this, this is almost like a sort of skeletal chassis where it's so open and all that. There we go, that's tight. The electrics, they're saying under and over on the wire, like that. And then you've got the receiver and ESC. They're saying the receiver this side, so we'll put it there. We'll probably have to make a custom aerial because these modern ones are a lot shorter than the way these used to be designed. And then the ESC, I've mounted the switch on the side, should be able to reach up to it with ease once the body's on. And that will go there. So we'll run the electrics in. Channel 1 we know will be steering. Channel 2 will be ESC. So and there we go. I think that's the better place to mount them. And then all you've got to do is, what I'm going to do is just quickly tidy up the electrics in here. And put a cable tie around. get this right, which should just be with one required. Going around the metal bar, something nice and solid. See, like so. And then pull the wires into place and just go up with it. I might add a second so it's super tight. Because you never want wires dropping down. Sometimes I use tweezers. These are grabbing tweezers, these ones, these are really good. And you hook it up. And there we go, it's all neat, all tidy. It just needs a snip off there and a snip off there. So I'll done with the other bit of plastic. That completes stage 5. Now, section 6, tie rods and part of the servo saver. When you fit these, never go mad, just till they stop. Because you don't want to weaken these parts at all. And you literally do feel when they sort of at a happy point. And make sure you start them very straight. Let's clear the excess wax. And then this goes on the back. So you make that part up. Now, my little tip for doing these, they say 37.5, so I will do these at 35, the short one. The reason I do this is it's easier to, when you're adjusting the steering, to wind it in than to wind it out. If that makes sense. Because when you get to a point of these, when you wind them up, they go together. And when one gets stiffer than the other, it will wind in the other end. And if it gets too much, actually I said 35, ignore me, it's 37. You want to make them longer. So I'm going to make them 39, not shorter, make them longer. Because it's easier to adjust them in, because they wind together. When you do the towing, because when they say set the slight toe in, because the reason you have a toe in, when it moves forwards the suspension has all got movement and it straightens the wheels up perfectly. And then the other one, which is 58, I'll do 63. And like I said, it leaves me that leeway now for when I do that part. Near enough. But like I said, that's the way I like to do it, because sometimes you can adjust out things just that little bit better. You know, if there's a slight discrepancy, you can actually straighten the steering with these. and not thinking, I should have checked, done on the wrong side. I'm really having a good day today, but I'm enjoying it. But this is the trouble with chatting and not glancing at the manual at the same time. And now the steering's correct. So that completes section 6.